maybe you weren't dressed all the way, or maybe you were mastered.
Well, I mean, I just have my boxers on.
That you noticed that she had urinated on herself.
They say they found child pornography on the computer he left behind. There says he is not shocked that Harrell is now considered a person of interest in the little girl's murder.
Our son out here, so we knew something was coming.
The only person named as a person of interest in the kidnapping and murder of Summer Thompson was back in court today.
This home. Today he pled not guilty.
In October 2009, Jared Harrell kidnapped Summer Thompson when she was walking home from school. She was 7 years old. He assaulted her and then took her life. He then threw her in a dumpster. Police found his video recordings of his encounter with her. In this video, he will detail some of what he did.
I want to try to hash things back out, but I just want to kind of start from what you're telling me in the car, so I'll make sure I understand everything you said. All right, I'm just going to take some notes as we go. All right. You said on October the 19th, the day that Summer went missing, that around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometime after school was
Right.
out. Okay. Tell me what happened.
Okay. I was moving things from my bedroom to the garage. I had the garage door open, the door from outside into the garage open, and the door from the kitchen to the garage open.
Okay.
I was walking back and forth, gathering stuff up. I was in my room. I filled a bag up full of clothes, and on my way back out to the garage, I noticed Summer in the doorway of between the kitchen and the garage. And when I saw her there, I was, startled because, of course, there was a strange person in the house. I mean, and I assumed I was there alone. Of course, it's
right.
And so I kind of started to approach her a little bit, and I said, "What are you doing in here?" At that point, she started getting anxious. I guess she looked like she was just scared to death.
Right.
And she started screaming. At that point, I walked over to her to try and quiet her.
So at this point, she startled you. You've startled her now, and she starts to scream.
Right.
And you said tried to make her be quiet because you didn't want anybody to hear her screaming. And how did you said you put your hand over her mouth?
Correct.
Okay. Do you remember which hand it was?
It was my right hand.
So you put your right hand over her mouth, and you had your left hand behind her head?
Yeah.
So she wasn't against the wall. She was just standing there to get you.
Yeah.
So to apply pressure to her mouth and make her be quiet,
you
had to hold the back of her head. Okay. All right. So you're holding her. You're trying to keep her from screaming. And what happened from there?
She kind of went limp.
Okay.
And of course she urinated on herself. And I kind of noticed that, like, through all the panic and everything, I noticed that, she wasn't moving.
Right.
At that point I realized that she was probably dead.
Okay.
So I started to panic. I was pacing back and forth. I didn't really know what to do. The only thing I could think of was just to hide the body to get rid of it. So I went in the garage and I got one of the red Rubbermaid boxes. I put her in it and I closed the top on it. I took it to my car, put it in my back seat. I drove to Fleming Island behind Medium Beef, and I put the box in the dumpster. I drove back to the house. I got her stuff that was scattered around. I put it in a trash bag. I don't remember what kind of trash bag. I just grabbed one of the trash bags that were in the hall. And I put it in my garbage can.
Okay. So you said you after she went limp,
Mm.
but before that she had urinated on herself.
Mm.
Right. And you put her in the bin.
Right.
And you describe the bin as like a rubber made bin.
Yeah, that's snap tight.
And what color was it again?
Red.
Red. Okay. And then you put it back in your car.
Mm.
You drove to Fleming Island to the dumpster. And why did you pick that dumpster?
It was familiar to me.
Okay. And then I thought you told me because it was sectioned off or something.
It was closed. It was bricked around.
Bricked around it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, 2 things so far. Number 1, he claims the girl was at his house by random, which never happens. And number 2, he says, I realized that she had died. So he doesn't really talk about how she died. He's obviously at this point trying to avoid it. But don't worry, the police will get it out of this, I'm sorry to say, dirty bastard.
All right. So then you come back to the house.
Yeah.
And you put her stuff. What items do you actually remember?
For sure, remember it was a backpack.
And what color? Do you remember what color it was?
Black and pink.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure. And then there was like a couple of books that she had just been carrying, I guess. I put those in the bag, and then her shoes.
Okay, so the pink backpack,
Mm-hmm.
some books that was in the backpack,
Mm-hmm.
her shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and what else?
There might or might not have been like a lunchbox or something like that. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Right. But the shoes that you put in the garbage can with the backpack was the shoes that she was actually wearing. It wasn't a pair that had fell out of the bag or anything. That was actually the shoes she was wearing that day.
She didn't have any shoes on. Right.
And you said you thought those came off just because she might have been kicking.
Yeah, that was my assumption.
Okay. All right. And I'd ask you, did you remember what she was wearing that day?
Some like a striped sweater.
Okay.
And some red jeans.
When you say red, is it red like a fire truck?
Or it's probably like a maroon.
Like a maroon?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you said the striped sweater, was it like big stripes or little stripes or just one stripe? Or
I'm not really sure. I'm thinking it was more like little stripes.
Okay. So and you put that stuff in a trash bag, and you put that in your regular yard trash or house trash.
Right.
And how long you say that you kept that, or it was at the house before you actually put it out?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So after you put the bin in the dumpster,
Mm-hmm.
you come back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do then?
After I put the stuff in the trash bag and then in the trash, I think I don't remember if I had electricity at that time or not. I kind of just remember pacing around or doing something like that until Mom got there, which wasn't too far after that.
You told me earlier that you had to clean up the urine off the floor.
Right.
Did you do that before you went to the dumpster or after you got back?
No, that was before I got the clothing and stuff in the trash bag.
Okay. So you did that before you took her to the dumpster?
No, after. It was before I took the clothing or the shoes and the backpack and all that stuff. It was before I bagged that up and took it to the trash.
Okay. All right. So where was her book bag and shoes and all that stuff when you actually took her to the dump? Were they just laying on the kitchen floor, or did you put them somewhere in case somebody come by and would see them, or
I didn't even think about them.
You just left them?
Yeah, they were.
I
guess they were just laying there. You know?
Okay. So you get back, you clean it, mop up with a mop, and then you put those items in a trash bag, put those in the garbage outside, and then you just hung out till Mom got there.
Yeah.
Right. Once Mom got there, where did y'all go?
We loaded up some stuff into her car, and we went to the Chevron up the road. And we got gas. We put gas in both the vehicles. Went and got something to eat at McDonald's. And we came back there, loaded up a couple more things, and she left.
And at that point, when she went to leave, you hadn't spoke to anybody about this,
No.
And you didn't tell her anything about it. Okay. And what did you do the rest of that night?
I think I'm pretty much just hanging out. I'm not sure if I left. I might have went just to kind of get away from all the activity that was going on. I might have went to Winn-Dixie.
Okay.
Just to walk around. That's the closest thing I could think of, but I'm not sure if that was that night or the next night.
Okay.
Earlier, I can't remember where it was in the place of it, but you said that some people came through the yard looking
Right.
for a little girl. Was your mom still there then, or was that after?
No, she was gone. Yeah,
So
that
it was
was
after dark?
Yeah, that was after she left.
Okay.
It was dark because they had flashlights and everything.
So they're walking around with flashlights and I think you said they were hollering a name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that the first time you knew what Summer's name was?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that they asked you, had you seen a little girl or had you seen her or something like that?
No, it was, I had asked them what, all the commotion was, and they said a little girl had went missing.
Okay. Because you said they'd actually come like in the yard and all.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I remembered that, but I couldn't remember where it was exactly in the time frame.
They were looking for a little girl
Right.
named Summer.
Right.
And at that point, I guess you put two and two together that they were looking for her. Okay.
Now, is that when you saw her picture, or when did you?
I don't think I actually saw her picture until it was on the news.
So like the next night or the next day? Or...
Right, he's now going to describe in detail what he did to Summer and how she died. But let me give you a quick bit of history regarding Jarrell. He was named as a suspect in this murder because 4 months later, he was actually arrested in Mississippi, and the police found him with 29 indecent child images. So you are talking about a predator. As I said earlier, we are talking about a dirty bastard, right? But let's see how Summer actually died.
It's probably next night, after they started running the story.
But you remember when you first saw her?
Yeah.
And then the next thing was, you were saying was that's when she panicked, and you grabbed her, tried to make her stop screaming. And then from there, she went limp. So if that's those steps, then the chance of her going anywhere else in the house wouldn't be possible. Is that what you're saying?
If the only way it could be possible is if I was busy, busy in the actual closet, like in the closet, messing with clothes or something, and she was walking around and I didn't know it. But
right. So what you're saying is it's possible. What you're saying that she could have come in the back door, walked around the house looking for the dog, and just didn't make enough noise that you saw her.
As I was trying to sort through things,
and
I didn't notice
you
it.
met her back in the kitchen. So no one else was looking at her but just you, and you said that when you put her in the bin and you put her in your vehicle, that was your black Suzuki. And what is the actual model of that vehicle?
The 2001 Suzuki Vitara.
Vitara, that was it.
Earlier you said that you put her in the box in the back seat instead of the cargo area.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that there may have been something in the box with her, but you're not positive about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't you say maybe a blanket?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay. And you said that this blanket, I mean, are you pretty sure there was a blanket in there, or do you?
I don't really remember looking. I just kind of had it over here. I popped the pipe open, and I grabbed her.
Okay. And you said earlier because you described the bin as like a storage bin.
Right.
And which I'm assuming they're not real big, but you said that when you put her in there, you kind of had to, I wouldn't say fold her, but kind of bend her a little to get her in there.
Yeah.
Do you remember if she was laying, how she was laying, when you put her in there, how you had to put her in there? Did she lay on her back with her legs up, or do you remember if she laid on her side, or?
I think it was on her back.
So you just kind of laid her straight in, so she was facing up, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. When you were trying to make her be quiet, and you had your hand over her mouth. You said you didn't remember exactly how long you think it was before she went limp.
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. But that's the point that you noticed that she had urinated on herself. Okay.
And I asked you about where you touched her,
Mhm.
and you maybe even touched her after she was gone. And I want to make sure when we're done that anything that could be questioned about it, we answer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because I don't want somebody to say, "Oh, he's lying because he lied about this," and it's not you lying; it's just you don't remember, or you think it sounds bad. You don't want to say something that sounds that way because it was unintended, and somebody's going to take it the wrong way, and that makes the whole thing fall apart. You know what I'm saying? And I'm concerned that you think that whatever, if there's something that you're intentionally not saying it, it's not because you want to lie, because I don't get that from you at all. I think it's just you're concerned about how it's going to sound. Okay. Or else maybe you really don't remember, but if we can kind of walk through it, it'll help you remember. Because I noticed when you talk about it, the time span of what you're talking about is real quick. It's like you can tell us everything that was going on, and then it kind of compresses, and you can tell us things that happen after. And I think you're kind of compressing things to get past the hard part, which that's human. Everybody does that. You make a mistake, you just want to get it done and move on. You don't want to dwell on it, and I understand that. And I don't want you to think that I think you're lying to me, because I don't think that's the case. I think maybe there's some things you're not ready to say yet. Okay? So I want to make sure before we're done, I talk to you about those things, and if there's any of them that you want to, clear up or anything that I'm not right about, that we talk about it. Okay? But in looking at the reports, it shows where she was touched a couple other places besides just here around the head. And I understand that was the main one, because that's what led to this bad thing happening. Mm-hmm. You said you had your hands up there and you were trying to make her be quiet. I understand that. But there's a couple things that we just need to kind of talk through and see if there's an explanation for. Okay. And I asked you, I think probably the initial thing we need to clear up is just to kind of see if maybe there's something at the beginning of this that would help explain the way she reacted. Okay. Because you said in the car a couple times that she looked scared to death at first, or she looked real surprised. She was anxious, I think is the word you used too. Okay. Is it possible she interrupted you doing something, or she saw something she shouldn't have seen because she was where she didn't belong? I mean, like maybe, let me put it this way. When I was younger, I lived in a house by myself. And if I went to the bathroom, I didn't close the door. I didn't worry about it because I lived in the house by myself.
Right.
Okay. Well, one time somebody knocked on the door and they could see through the window kind of an angle that I was going to the bathroom. And that was very embarrassing. But I didn't do anything intentionally. They were up on my porch looking in my window. Mm-hmm. So I could see how if she was maybe somewhere she didn't belong, she might have seen something. And you would think that would sound bad, but it's completely understandable. It happens all the time. You come out of the shower, you don't think anybody's home, and you walk in the living room, and oh my God, there's the whole family. But people make mistakes like that all the time. Mm-hmm. So if maybe you were doing something, maybe you weren't dressed all the way, or maybe you were masturbating, or maybe you'd gone to the bathroom, and she saw something that shocked her, then she went to pull back and scream, and you're naked or almost naked, or feeling embarrassed by it, it'd be even more natural that you would rush up and try to quell that before somebody came running over and saw something they shouldn't have seen.
Well, I mean, I just have my boxers on, but I consider that clothes.
Well, so do I. But, is it possible the boxers weren't covering you all the way because you were by yourself and you were working? Or
That's possible.
Okay. So maybe there was something that she saw that would have shocked her more than just you being in your own house.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. She knew she came into your house. So I could understand a little bit of surprise when she walked in you, but I mean, how surprised can you be when you're in somebody's house that somebody's in there? People just don't leave their doors open if they're not home.
Well, the only thing I can think of thinking back is she might have known my brothers, when they lived there, and then
sure.
Then I come walking in and I'm this big, huge, dark guy, and she's like
much bigger than your brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of makes some sense. And you had said that she was looking for a particular dog, the big dog.
Yeah, she was looking for.
Was the little dog still there?
No. I don't think it had came there yet.
Okay. Because your mom said you guys kind of used the dog as a watch guard, when the house was empty, but the dog hadn't come yet because it wasn't
right. Yeah, it hadn't came yet.
Okay. So the big dog's gone and the little dog hasn't come yet. Right. Okay.
Okay, that was a whole load of waffling from Jared. Let me tell you what he actually did, and then we'll carry on as the police will ask him about all the videos and the photos that they found. He lured Summer into the home, right? He then assaulted her. He then murdered her. He then took pictures and videos, and he touched her after she died, and then he buried the body. He also committed one other crime, so keep listening. I'll tell you about it in a second.
There's some things we found that show us she was touched a couple other places. And I don't necessarily mean that anything bad happened to her, but she was certainly touched more than just up on her face. Okay. I think Kenny talked to you before about the way the DNA checking was done was not just one little spot. They checked a bunch of different spots to make sure that if there was something found. So, is it possible either before or after she passed out that you would have touched her somewhere else, either to maybe lower her to the floor or, like I said,
It was all done in an extreme rush, but I mean, like I said, if when I lifted her up, I could have got underneath her shirt, as I was lifting her up, or
lifting her up?
Yeah, lifting her off the ground into the
box. Okay, you just kind of went up over your head. I was confused.
I mean, you know how when you grab somebody, you're trying to lift them up.
Yeah.
Their shirt might slip up or something like that. But
yeah. Well, and you did say before that she was kind of tiny. I mean, so
yeah.
You got big hands, you can cover a lot of area. The one thing I want to check with you is, and like I talked about, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to make you feel bad. I certainly understand it. That it's something you can't really control. And like I said, I've talked to a lot of people that can't control certain things. They can't control a drinking addiction. They can't control a porn addiction. They can't control sex addiction. And you certainly don't pick what you're attracted to. I mean, there's a certain kind of woman that I like, a certain kind of woman Kenny likes. Other people like men or the same sex. That's how you come. You come out of the box and you're kind of predisposed to liking certain things. It's like being epileptic. You can't help it. The pornography on computers and stuff like that. Is it possible that you moved her clothes to be able to see some stuff before you put her in the box?
I mean, I didn't do it purposely.
Okay.
And if it was something more than that, I blocked it out.
Well, and like I said, I think maybe you feel bad about it. You don't want to remember it, and you put it in a box. You don't want to get it out. And I understand that. I mean, what you told us, I got to tell you how impressed I am that you've been this honest with us. I really have been. I just don't want this to be something you trip over later. Because
I just want to get away from my family,
Yeah.
So I'm doing whatever I need to do just to get away from them and try and let them get back to their life.
Yeah. And like I said before, I think that's really responsible of you. A lot of people wouldn't have the guts to come out and say what really happened. But like we told you, when people know the truth, they can stop thinking the worst about everything. And they can stop thinking that, you're a monster or your parents are, raised you to do bad things. None of the crap that's true. But they're going to think it if they don't have an answer. So it's possible that you touched her underneath her clothes, but you don't remember doing that. And it's possible that her clothes may have been moved down in either the kicking around or the movement of getting her into the box or something like that. Her clothes may have come down. So
it's possible.
Okay. And I asked you before, I know you said you used the mop to clean up, but when she was wet, did you maybe move that stuff off her because it was wet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When you said that you put the bin in your vehicle,
correct?
You said you put it in the back seat area?
Behind the passenger seat in the back seat.
Okay. But you actually laid it on the seat of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to lay the seats down or anything to put it in there. Okay. And where was your vehicle parked at when you had to go put that in there?
The driveway.
Was it pulled in, or do you remember if it was it back then?
Just pulled in regular.
Just pulled in regular. So you just opened the back door and just slid it in. Okay. And then you said that you went out to the dumpster in Fleming Island, and it was behind. What was it behind?
Beauty and the Beef and nail place and things like that.
And I remember asking you.
And there's a little haircut place too.
Yep.
Isn't it? Okay.
Yeah,
There's like Achieve and the haircut.
It's strip mall.
Yeah.
Right. But that dumpster, is it, I was asking, is it privately owned?
yeah, I believe so. I believe it's just for the strip mall.
Just so it's strictly for that strip mall.
They probably paid for the trash pickup and all that.
And when you were
They did.
there putting the bin in the dumpster, you didn't see anybody else?
No people, a few cars, but no persons back there.
Now, when you took the bin out of the car, it has a lid on it and said snap shut, and you take it over to the dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just so I have a good idea, is this a open face dumpster like you would put construction material in, or is this a dumpster like
It's a door. It's the top opens,
Mhm.
and then it has two huge doors on the side that open
Okay. How did you put the bin in?
through the side door.
Through the side door. And how much trash was in the dumpster at that time?
Not a whole lot, about a foot, maybe like a foot of trash.
Okay. You just put it in there and left? Okay. And then you go back to the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you said about the blanket that you thought might have been in the bottom of the bin. Do you remember what color it was or what it looked like?
I'm not even sure there was one, so I mean, I didn't get a good look at one.
Okay.
If it was one in there.
Okay. So you're just guessing at that point about the blanket?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right. I just wondered, you didn't lay a blanket in there or a towel or something to put her on top of or anything? Were you expecting Mom that day? Had she already told you she was coming by?
At that point, yeah, I believe she had already called me. She was supposed to be there later.
Okay, so you were kind of expecting her then.
Yeah.
So once you take her to the dumpster and you come immediately straight back home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know about how long do you think after you put her stuff in the trash can outside that Mom got there?
Hour?
Okay. And I mean, when I guess I'm saying when Mom got there, what were you thinking?
At that point, I'd already started kind of closing myself off to it. I was just, spending time with my mom. It wasn't, I mean, as bad as it sounds, it wasn't in my head, I was just trying to
block it out.
Yeah.
So Mom gets there, and at that point, you're acting normal.
Yeah.
Or whatever Mom think normal of you. She didn't question you or anything like you're acting funny or are you okay or. So at that point, you're.
I think I was acting pretty normal. It's different one's perception from somebody else's. But
Right.
I mean, as far as I know, I was.
Mom didn't question you or anything.
No, she didn't.
So you were pretty calm at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, and just to make sure I got it down, you said before you don't drink, and you weren't on any kind of medication or
Socially, I drink.
right,
but
but not like just to drink it during the day because it's
No.
4 o'clock or if you're at a party or your friends are drinking, that's one thing. But just in general, you don't drink. Right. Okay. And you weren't on any kind of medication, and you didn't do any drugs or anything that day, so you were clear, normal.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And did you do anything to calm down before Mom got there? That you remember? Besides just normal pacing or,
I have a way of just completely blanking my head, so I think I just did that and just kind of walked and just kind of tried to breathe, and take some deep breaths and calm down.
Okay.
Just, normal exercises to try and calm yourself down.
This part about her being in the house and you're not sure if she went anywhere else in the house. Are you for sure on that part that she didn't come in and maybe go around the house looking for the dog or?
I'm not for sure.
And then she went to leave or something and that's when she got scared.
I mean, I'm not sure, but I know when I came on her, she was in the kitchen facing me.
Okay.
Yeah, so she wasn't facing the back door like she was trying to leave. She was still facing.
That's something we need to talk about. Is when you approached her, when you first saw her, when you approached her, she was facing you.
Yeah.
And then when you first put your hands on her to keep her from hollering, she was still facing you, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, she was facing where I was.
I'm sorry.
She was facing where I was. She kind of just kept looking straight ahead.
Oh, so she kind of froze.
I guess, yeah.
She wasn't like looking at you, but she was looking your way.
Yeah.
Okay. And you put your hands over to try to hush her, and she stayed facing you until you lowered her to the floor.
So her back at that point was to the door, the open door to the garage.
Yeah, it was like the counter and the door, and it was kind of right in the middle.
She's the other one. She's facing inward into the house.
She's facing inward into the house.
All right. And you didn't have to go up behind. You didn't go behind her.
No. Strictly,
the hand was in the front.
Yeah.
You said that that the pictures, the video, that you said that happened about a year and a half ago. Okay. And I just want to make sure I clarify that. You said that all that was photographs and a video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That you never touched her or anything that would cause her physical harm.
No.
Nothing that we would need to make sure that
Absolutely.
there's no problems in the future or anything. Okay. And you said that happened at which house? Okay. And where in the house was it?
I was in my bedroom. You go down the hallway to the right, first door to the right.
Okay. So and it was, who was home that day? I remember you saying.
I believe Mom was home.
Okay.
I don't remember what she was doing.
So you weren't set to a task that you were babysitting and there was nobody there but you and her and her brother? Your mom was actually in the house as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you actually have her do?
Nothing. I mean, she just was naked and rolling around.
Okay.
Did you have her get in some poses or do some things?
Not really.
Okay. Do you remember asking her to do anything?
I mean, that was a while ago. I don't remember. I mean, I didn't ask her. I don't think I even asked her to do anything. I'm not really sure. I mean, it was a long time ago.
I was
just, kind of playing with her. I wasn't trying to hurt her or anything like that.
Well, I don't.
Well, like we said, the picture they showed us, she was smiling.
Yeah, I didn't think you tried to hurt her. And at that point, you said, what do you think she thought was going on at that point?
I mean, I had the TV on. She was probably oblivious to anything that was going on.
Okay. So she wasn't crying or trying to get away from you.
No, she was laughing. She was watching SpongeBob or something.
Okay. And you used what was that, like a 35 millimeter camera, or what was it?
It was a digital camera, like a Canon digital camera.
Okay. So it didn't have film.
No.
Okay. And the pictures that you took, what were they of? You said she was late naked rolling on the bed. Was she totally unclothed, or did she have?
No, she had a shirt on.
Okay, but no bottoms. Did she start out that way, or did she have them on at first, taking pictures, and then she took those off?
No, those were taken off.
Okay. And then from there, that I'm assuming there was a video. Was that done with the same camera, or was there additional camera?
The same camera.
So it takes video and still photos. Okay. And in the video, what is she doing?
Just kind of watching TV, rolling around, and kind of just me playing with her. Nothing bad. It just
right. Okay. When you say playing with her, what, as in what?
Lifting up her legs and stuff like that.
Okay. So when she lifts her legs, you're filming her naked. I understand it's uncomfortable to talk about, but we need to know the specifics of what you were doing. Did you ever insert anything inside of her or anything? Okay. So besides, now, did you tell her to spread her legs, and she did?
Mhm.
Did
She was just, we were just playing around.
Okay.
Like, I never told her to do anything. You know, she was just.
Okay. Did you raise her? Did you move her leg and film it at the same time, or? I mean, were you? I guess I'm asking, were you touching her at all, or was she just laying on the bed and?
Just on her leg.
Okay. Right. Was that so she would spread her legs? So while you were filming?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember anything that you told her? Do you remember anything that you said to her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at no time, you never used your fingers. I mean, I know these are uncomfortable questions, but you never used your finger or your tongue or anything to insert her in her. What about just touching her?
No.
You never touched her butt or her vagina or anything?
I touched her butt.
Her butt? Okay. How did you touch her? How did you touch her butt?
Just on the cheek.
Okay. But you didn't insert anything in
No.
her rectum or anything like that?
Nothing like that.
Okay. Did she ever ask you what you were doing, or was she strictly laughing? And did you ever take photographs of him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where was he at in relationship to her during that time?
He was on the other side of the bed watching TV. Not on the bed, but in his little chair on the other side of the bed.
Okay.
He didn't see any of it.
Did you ever discuss that with anybody? Okay. So nobody in the family or no friends or nobody, you never told anybody about that? Okay.
And you never shared those files or that picture or posted anywhere or did anything that stuff would be out anywhere that we need to go find it.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's nowhere but on that little disc.
Okay. Why did you keep those?
I deleted them right after I did it.
Okay. So for the average person, when you say you deleted them, you deleted them off the camera, or is that deleted them off the card as well?
When you take it on the camera, it deletes it on the. It puts it on the card. It doesn't actually store anything on the camera. That's the way it works.
Okay.
So I deleted it off the card.
Okay. So the average person, if they were to take that card and look at it,
See nothing.
You wouldn't see anything. Okay. But it's always there, I guess.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. Is it possible that you didn't delete that card by mistake? Maybe you deleted a different card? I'm not positive. I'm just asking because there's a lot of cards and a lot of memory stuff and storage devices. Is it possible that you thought you deleted it and you hadn't?
It's possible, but I'm pretty sure I deleted that.
Okay.
Because that's why I said I thought I deleted it, and then I took the camera and I threw it against the wall.
You threw the camera against the wall.
I felt horrible.
Well, I understand that.
How long after you took the pictures did you delete them?
Like the next day.
Have you ever? I told you that naturally when they searched those locations and they found all of these discs and cards and computers and hard drives and all these things. Is there? So we don't, like I said, we don't want to get surprised with something. Is there any other photographs or anything amongst these cards or discs that you've taken of any other child ever? Mm-hmm. Any of these DVDs and cards and things of that nature? Is there anything on those cards or anything we're going to be surprised with? I mean, I guess what I'm saying, if there's a DVD that says, I don't know, it has a movie name on it, something that was handwritten on it. Is there any of that stuff that's going to have anything on them that we're going to be surprised with, or is that all, or are they what they say they are?
I used to have a couple of DVDs with some of that stuff on it, and unless I missed one, I broke them all.
Okay.
So if you find one, it's because I missed it, and it's not because I was deliberately trying to keep. I missed it. That's why all this stuff that y'all find on me it's always been deleted. It's because I do it and then I feel horrible and then I delete it. But y'all can come back behind me and find it anyway.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not downloading it and keeping it, and I try to delete it and I try and get rid of it, but
Of course, I guess the DVD, once you put it on
once
DVD,
you burn it,
it's either break it in half or scratch it or something to where it can't be used. But it's because it's always on there. You can't erase those. I'm assuming you can't erase those.
The only ones you can erase are the DVD RWs, which are rewritable.
Rewritable.
Yeah. And that's kind of, it sounds like a normal cycle you're talking about with doing something you really can't control, and then you get past that and you start to feel bad about what you did, and you try to clean up as much as you can about it. And that's kind of a normal cycle of stuff you see with these kind of things, and with people who do things, they don't even really understand sometimes, because they keep falling that same cycle. It's almost a trap. You see it with domestic violence. You see a lot of different things.
That's why I wanted to get rid of all this child porn stuff. Because I don't want it on my record or on my family. I just want to get rid of it, and I want to get help, but I don't know if I can do it under the guise of Summer. If we can, if I can just get help and say that, if the press hears about it, or if we can just keep it silent that I'm getting help for it. I mean, I don't want it to be openly available that I'm getting help because I have a problem with child pornography.
Okay, but anything you're getting help for comes under HEPA, and it's,
It comes under what?
HEPA, like your medical records and all that. Anything you can talk to a counselor about, any of that stuff, that's all privileged. So
I want to get help. I just don't want it to be. I don't want my family to find out about it. Find out about the stuff that I did.
You're not a minor, you're an adult. You tell your people what you want to tell them.
So, you've now heard the evidence the police got. In another interview, he did admit to actually sexually assaulting her. The police would not give me that video because of redactions and security and all that stuff. But either way, he did admit to this. So initially, he pled not guilty in court, and then he pled guilty. But check this out, right? He pled guilty to 2 other cases. This other case involved molestation of a 3-year-old and possession of indecent child images. In total, he was up for 59 counts. 59. I don't even have 59 friends. He was given a total of 6 life sentences. And looking at him, even I don't think that's enough. So comment, tell me what you think.